In criminal and civil law, strict liability is a standard of liability under which a person is legally responsible for the consequences flowing from an activity even in the absence of fault or criminal intent on the part of the defendant. Okay, mark these two lines, even in the absence of fault. Now this is something new that we are coming across, blowing up our minds, that how is it possible that even when the criminal or the defendant is not present, how could a crime and activity be stated in the absence of either of the parties, right? When a crime has to be committed, there has to be at least one party. Even if the victim is not present, the criminal has to be present, right? So now we'll see how does this thing work in strict liability. How does this logic work in strict liability? In the field of torts, prominent examples of strict liability may include product liability, abnormally dangerous activities, for example, blasting, intrusion onto others' land by livestock and ownership of wild animals. Traditional criminal offenses that require no element of intent include statutory rape and felony murder. Okay, so the best example, which I think for students of your age and learning legal studies for the first time, can be bomb blasting. Right, Shanaya, as you stated that the absence of the wrongdoer is a key element in this strict liability. So students, absence of a criminal can be included in this example of bomb blasting. Usually whatever theories we have learned about bomb blasting, whatever cases we know, the bomber comes in, plants the bomb either by himself, or he has done some sort of sting operation. He sends it in a tiffin box, in a trolley, in a tractor, in a deserted vehicle across the road, keeps the bomb and walks away. So what happens here? The criminal activity is successfully charged. The bomb blasts, injures a lot of people. There are casualties also, deaths also. But then we don't know who did it at that moment because the defendant is not present. Right? Karthike, Avishi, understood? Right? So, for example, during the time of a bomb blast, the absence of the criminal or the defendant is an element which we can see here. Right? Let's move on to this paragraph. In tort law, strict liability is the imposition of liability on a party without finding of fault, such as negligence or tortious intent. The claimant is the same person as the plaintiff. Students, kindly make note of it. Claimant is the same person who claims, is the same person who is the plaintiff. So the claimant needs only to prove the tort occurred and the defendant was responsible. So not exactly that he would be proving every element of the activity, but then he'll just prove that the tort occurred. How, when, who was involved is not necessary. The plaintiff just has to prove that the tort occurred, the occurrence of tort. Kindly underline this. Okay. The law imputes strict liability to situations it considers to be inherently dangerous. One more important line. Strict liability is basically imputed on such an activity which is considered to be inherently dangerous. Bomb blasting, felony rape, felony murder are all dangerous activities. It chori nahi hai. It's a murder, it's a rape, it's a bomb blast. So it is a very dangerous activity. So the law directly imposes strict liability on incidents which are very, very, very dangerous. All right. Next, it discourages reckless behavior and needless loss by forcing potential defendants to take every possible precaution. What does strict liability do? It discourages reckless behavior. What do criminals do? They behave recklessly in a manner, right? They do whatever they want to. They create a hassle in the town or wherever they're going. So strict liability discourages this kind of behavior, because what happens in strict liability? सीधे उठाओ जेल में फेंक दो. The claimant only has to prove the occurrence. For example, when Karthike was standing across the street, he saw that a man lit a car up on fire and he ran away. So what did Karthikeya do? Karthikeya had just recorded a 10-second video on his mobile phone. 10-second video on the mobile phone can prove that this activity had occurred in civil lines. Karthikeya had witnessed it and he had given it to the court. Done. Through CCTV cameras, they'll find the person who had lit up the car, जिसने गाड़ी जलाया था. They'll find him. They'll put him in jail. They won't make up any trial case against him, because along with Karthikeya, there might be 15 other people who must have seen him doing that activity. He's burning a car. He's lighting a car upon fire. It's not something that people will ignore. And out of those 15, 16 people, Karthikeya and one or two other people recorded a video out of it. So do you think the court needs to find that man and then take up a trial case on him and then ask him, what do you want? The court will definitely pick him up from wherever they can and they'll throw him in the jail. And then the further proceedings will take place. Get it? So strict liability is something which is basically related with dangerous activities, where the plaintiff only needs to prove the occurrence of the activity. Rest is all taken care of. Okay. So is anybody going to tell me what is it? Anybody but Shanaya? Shanaya has already discussed it. Anyone else? There are not many students in the class today, so I hope the attention is not that much divided. Kritika, would you like to give it a try? Khushi? Anyone? Tushar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You people can take a minute. Like now that Kritika is discussing, it's okay. But then whenever students, I ask you for a topic that if any student can explain, you can take up 30 seconds or a minute to go through the paragraph and then you can say yes or no, sir. Okay. I don't want you to directly speak up that yes, I can do it or no, I won't. Okay. You can take up half a minute to read it. Read it and then let me know whosoever can, discuss it with the class. Rochak, feeling sleepy? Bhumi, what are you looking at the wall? Staring at the wall.
No, sir, my father was there.
Okay, okay. Okay, किसी को कुछ भी समझ में आया, something that entered your head? Akarshan, you started feeling sleepy after reading it. So, anyone, Fatima, not understood anything? Tell me if you have not understood. I will.
Yes, sir. Shall I tell?
Okay. So, students, Kritika is going to tell you a little about strict liability. Keep your eyes, ears, head, everything open. Okay. And uske baad bhi, if you don't understand, please let me know. Don't sit back like that you understood and whatever. Okay. If you don't understand, I'll tell you 100 times. Okay, Kritika. Yes.
So, strict liability is a legal standard where, like unlike normal cases where the proceedings include the proving of criminals' intent or criminals' wicked intentions, it's not like that. In strict liability, the defendant is considered to be inherently or intrinsically criminal, and he is guilty, and he is then just the occurrence of the tort or the occurrence of the crime is required. If that is proved, then the defendant is not required for the defendant to prove himself or not.
Exactly.
The court and the legal procedures, they consider him to be guilty because they know that it is very natural that it is committed by him.
Exactly. Abhi, like now, did you people like do you people have a little any clear view of it? Fatima, Rochak, anything better than previous? Khushi, you understood it? Piyush?
Yes, sir.
Piyush? Okay, Rochak, did you understand it? Strict liability? Okay, Samriddhi, Karthike gave me a thumbs up. Okay, Tushar? Bhumi also gave me a thumbs up. Okay. ये पीले अंगूठे मुझे सबके दिख रहे हैं, but if you write wrong answers, then I'll let you know, people. Okay, make sure. And I am not seeing anything on the discuss tabs, so please write down your doubts on the discuss tab. Okay, my discuss tab is going empty throughout the week. I don't feel so good. It won't work like that. Keep writing stuff on there so that any doubts that come up to your head regarding this subject on the chapter, I'll keep clearing it up. Okay, pile up. Don't pile up your doubts that we'll ask sir all at once, because at that time I will be able to tell you everything. You won't be able to understand everything. So keep it one by one. Okay, keep it coming one by one. All right. So I am like pretty sure that you people are okay with absolute and strict liability. We can discuss it again once the chapter ends. It's okay. Okay. And when you people are revising and making your assignments back at home, always mark whatever you think you haven't understood. Maybe not after this chapter ends. Maybe once we are done completing the course, when we'll be on our revision phase, all of us will know that which topic was something that needs to be taken up again. Okay, so I request all the students, okay, that mark it if you don't understand it. All right, stick this theory inside your head. Mark it if you don't understand it, so that we can take it up again and again till our board exams come up. All right. Okay, I gave somebody purpose of thoughts as well.
Lotus.
Lotus, where are you? Purpose of thoughts, your duty. After that,
Yes.
law of contracts, I'll start. So
No,
Lotus,
sir, not a purpose of law, sir. Here you have given me a strict liability.
I had given you
It's on
strict.
that.
Acha, I had given you and Shania both, right?
Shanaya, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem. Shania.
So I want to ask one thing.
Yes,
Sir.
yes.
Sir, strict liability also applies in product liability cases.
Yes, it's given there. Product liability cases. Now, since you for me is a product analyst, how do you think product liability products fall under product liability, and why? What do you think? Like, see, it's all about a product being faulty, right? So
Yes, sir. The product is not unsafe. It's an unsafe or defective produce that
defective, yes,
injury or-
exactly. Someone investing 45,000 in a product, they would look up to a complete genuinity of that, right?
Yes, sir.
So
So
how do you,
manufacture that can
Exactly.
cause injury or death.
exactly. So how do you think product liability proves, like in the case of product liability, the defendant is already proven wrong? How do you think that happens? For example, there is a flagship phone by Oppo right now, Reno 4, I guess. So for instance, Lotus gets that phone for review. So Lotus, you get that phone for review and then you're planning to buy it, right? You get a handsome 15% discount and you buy it even for say 38,000. But then someday it's getting charged on the port. Okay, it's lightning speed charging and whatnot, it's given there. Lotus is charging it on a port where he charges all his other devices, so everything is fine, but all of a sudden the device blows off, right? It's not switching on, the screen has cracked, the battery panel has broken because of excess heat. So product liability will throw itself up in this case here. How would that be, Lotus? I cannot hear you, beta. Lotus.
So can you? Yes, sir. So then in that case, the company of that company will give a compensate that person, or sir, an injury happens, so sir, the company will be liable for it.
Exactly, the company, the particular.
So they will do a. So as we can see, sir, they will send their technician or whatever we can say, so who file up a case or who makes whole report of that
Exactly,
case.
exactly. Before Lotus files up a case, they'll send up their executive apologizing to Lotus, sending him a new phone. But then, what if Lotus loses his mind? Lotus becomes angry and he's like, "That device blew up my whole electricity board. What if it had?" Sometimes you people know, na fridge. When the fridge goes off, it takes up the whole MCB of the house. The whole house loses electricity for that moment. So what if Lotus, that burn, that explosion, mini explosion on the phone would have costed you a whole lot of fortune? Because of the, if a two-story house goes off on electricity, like the MCB dripping down is one thing, but the whole electricity blowing off is another thing. It will cost you a lot of money, right? If somebody is right now plugging at that very moment, for example, someone else was plugging something, they could have also got an electricity shock. So Lotus has a plethora of reasons, a bundle of reasons to tell that person who is representing Oppo right now, right? So, Kritika, what do you think? What valid points Lotus can throw upon that executive's face, that telling him that how the company is liable and how should they compensate Lotus? Any idea?
So he can ask for compensation of the product. So
Yeah,
because
the
here
first,
the defect will be attributable to the
yes,
company's carelessness.
yes,
So
exactly.
he can ask that I need the return, money return, or anything like that, whatever provisions they give when a customer buys a product.
Yes,
He
and
can
this
sue them
and
on
it's
those
also
charges.
and it's also upon Lotus, like being the plaintiff or the claimant. The stronger the
Yes.
case you build, Lotus, the better compensation you'll get. Always remember, students, the stronger the case a claimant or the plaintiff builds, the better compensation is provided to him by the court.
So
Right?
whatever you have said right now, sir, the same thing happened to me also, sir. In case of Xiaomi, so when new phone was launched, sir, MI 13 or sir, MI A3, so the
Yes.
same thing happened to me. Said its battery get blast or sir. So I called them Amazon, so they send me executive who file up a case or who prepared for his report. So they tell me that did something happen to his hand or what? So sir, then.
Were you waiting for my hand to blast off with the phone also?
So then, sir, I was in class or sir in school. So I kept it somewhere in my house or in shop. So I
Okay.
told that bhaiya to tell them that this and so happened. So he told, he made up some in his own story. So he told that
Acha.
to कि उसका हाथ में बहुत चोट लग गई थी, पट्टी उट्टी लगी. So he told him that. So he wrote it on
But
his
then
face
that
also.
bhaiya dekho, he used his head pretty good. He used his brain, saying
Yes.
that, see it, why wait for something to hurt someone? The company
Yes,
should
sir.
take precautionary steps. Xiaomi is not a small company. Xiaomi is a very huge enterprise these days. They are making costly phones, they are making budget phones. So I think they should keep a check on their customers. If one person loses his hand because of a Xiaomi phone, Xiaomi is going to lose at least 1 million customers. This is something. So,
So
so in case of product liability, the company as a defendant should take the best of the best precautionary steps. Even if they are a little aware that one of my customers can blast off a phone, Xiaomi should have a very handful and a handy compensation to provide with.
yes, sir. In that case, sir, the company offered me at sir, a maximum sum of amount, so that it was around 35,000 and sir, one handsome sir phone, new phone, it's a flagship phone. So there, which is also a limited edition phone.
Which
They
did you
offered me, and so because at that time I was influencer also, and they sponsored me.
that's
So
why. That's why I'm asking. Did you take it because that was your right?
yes, sir.
Yes, that. And always remember, students, a claimant should never back off compensation. Karthikeya is tired right now. He's sick and tired, putting his hand over his head. It's okay, Karthikeya. You'll also get a flagship phone very, very soon. Okay. So the claimant should never back off with the compensation. Yes, Karthikeya is going to get a new phone. He scored the highest in legal studies as of now. Had all of us been in school right now, I would have gifted Karthikeya something, because This is my first subject being taught, and Karthik is scoring the highest marks. Proud moment,
Karthik
Karthik.
is going to buy a new phone, sir. Realme. So with
Realme.
a 65-watt charging support. Yes, sir. Which is newly launched, sir,
Lotus
day
broke
before
it off for
yesterday.
the whole class. Karthik was planning to, keep it a secret. Lotus एकदम flop हो यार तो. ठीक है. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. We'll have time to. Okay, we just have 2-3 minutes. Let me just go through purpose of torts. After that, we have law of contracts, acceptance. Like law of contracts is very simple. Students who must be studying economics, accounts, commerce. Have you ever heard of contracts? Yes. Yes, students.
Yes, sir.
Contract सुना है?
Yes, sir.
हाँ. So contract would be easy. I'll make it fun for you people. I know, देखो absolute liability and strict liability. I know that people have understood right now, but then when topics are time taking, you should give time to it, right? Okay. So purpose of torts, let's just go through it and then we'll have our last 15-10 minutes for discussion and then we'll end the class. The primary purpose of tort law is to compensate victims who have suffered injury or wrong as a result of the actions of an individual or an organization. The purpose of tort law is not to punish those responsible, but to pay out the compensation. So what is the main purpose of tort law? Shania, what is the main purpose of tort law? There are two branches.
Not to punish the
Wrongdoer.
the defendant.
Yeah, but to pay compensation to the victim is the main.
To pay compensation.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So tort law works upon the good side. They don't want to kick the defendant that you go inside the jail. That is not the prime motto. That is criminal law's prime motto, जो हम लोगों ने chapter 4 में पढ़ा था. Law of tort serves a basic purpose, right, of helping out the victim. Usually, you people must have seen.
So then, in all the cases, tort law and criminal law, they go simultaneously.
No,
while the criminal law deals with the criminal and his.
See what happens. Tort law is basically a civil wrong. What affects the society on a whole. So the person filing it and the court taking up the filing of the charges in the cases, they segregate it. Whether it's supposed to be taken up as under the provisions of tort law. Tort law provisions are applied because tort law is not a codified law, right? If you people remember, tort law is not a codified law. In the chapter civil law and procedure, I gave you people an example, right? Codified and uncodified laws, if you people remember, and tort law is an uncodified law, right? So tort law is something that the provisions are taken up. The part of payment of compensation to the victim is the primary purpose that has been given us by tort law. But punishment of the criminals and the wrongdoers is the provision that we take up from criminal law, criminal procedure. Okay? Okay?
So sir, that's what I'm asking, that in all the cases, tort law and criminal law, they go simultaneously. The tort law, they... Okay.
What happens now, like, see, codification and uncodification of laws makes it a little varied, right? Uncodified laws are not taken up as a whole. Their provisions are taken up one at a time, and codified laws are taken up as a whole. For example, when there is a murder, there is a rape, there is a felony, everything is taken up. Like the charges, the criminal charges are imposed. The process is the civil, case filing and the trial process is taken. Indian Evidence Act gives out the kind of evidence and their theories behind it. So codified laws are already applied, but the part what uncodified law plays is that their provisions are somewhat applied all the time, little by little, not completely, but small provisions are applied. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
so, as of now, the class is ending.